Picture this. You wake up one day, feeling weighed down, not by your body, but by your mind. The same thoughts, the same anxiety, the same loop of worry and self-doubt. You've been living like this for years, telling yourself this is just life. But what if I were to tell you that everything you think you know is a lie? What if I told you your old thinking is the jail that makes you small, and that the ancient Stoics found a way to escape it more than 2,000 years ago? This isn't about getting motivated. This is about war. A war with your own weakness. And in this war, only the brutally honest live, because the Stoics didn't care about comfort. They cared about truth. And truth cuts deeper than any sword now. Today, you are going to be presented with 10 harsh Stoic lessons that will break the old habits of your mind and reprogram your brain for toughness, clarity, and ironclad discipline. So hold on tight, because after you hear this, there is no turning back. Lesson 1, control is an illusion, and that is your power. You believe you are in charge. You schedule your day. You schedule your future. You schedule your whole life. But then life has a good laugh. Your car is disabled. A friend turns against you. The market collapses. Your health deteriorates. The Stoics inquired, why double suffer, once for the event itself, and then for the bitterness of attempting to control something that was never in your hands? Epictetus made it plain. Some things are up to us, some are not. Your old way of thinking rebels against reality. Your new Stoic way of thinking, it yields, but not in weakness, in strength. The Stoic does not squander energy on things outside his control. He hones his attention like a knife, focusing solely on what he can control: his actions, his decisions, his character. This single adjustment rewires your brain. Stress melts away. Anxiety dissipates. Energy is recovered. Because when you come to understand control is an illusion, you at last take hold of the only real control you ever possessed: yourself. And that is the first cut into your old self. Lesson 2. Pain is your teacher, not your enemy. Your old mind dreads pain, steers clear of it, fleeing from it. You grasp for distractions, comfort, numbing habits, anything to avoid suffering. But the Stoics, they marched right into pain, because pain was the sole classroom that never lied. Marcus Aurelius said, "Does what happened prevent you from acting with justice, generosity, self-control, sanity, prudence, honesty, humility, straightforwardness?" Pain shows you what you are. Pain takes away delusions. Pain compels us to grow. Consider the gym. Your muscles only develop by tearing apart. Consider heartbreak. Your intelligence only becomes deeper by breaking. Consider failure. Your resilience only gets sharper by losing. The old mind perceives pain as punishment. The Stoic mind perceives pain as a mentor, pounding you into form. And when your mind reorients to accept pain rather than flee it, you become invincible. Because nothing the world tries to break you can. It can only make you stronger. Lesson 3. Desire is a trap your old self tells you. If I just get this one thing, then I'll finally be happy. A new car, a bigger house, more people following you, more money. But the moment you get it, the happiness wears off. A new desire emerges. The loop never stops. The Stoics referred to this as the chase of shadows. Seneca cautioned. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Your brain, conditioned by society, believes desire is progress. But really, desire is the leash that holds you bound. The Stoic conditioning turns the game around. Rather than yearning for more, he trains himself to need less. Rather than pursuing what he doesn't have, he hones what he does have. Freedom is not adding, it is subtracting. And when your desires no longer control you, no one can bribe you, tempt you, or enchain you. Lesson 4. Death is the only deadline that matters. Your old mind suppresses consideration of death. It covers itself up with distractions, deluding itself that life goes on and on forever. But the Stoics dealt with mortality every single day. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Why? Because death is not designed to frighten you. It is designed to concentrate you. You spend your time scrolling, gossiping, harboring grudges, like you had 1,000 years of spare time. You don't, none of us do. When you rewire your mind Stoic style, death is the flame that ignites the elimination of triviality. It gets you moving now to live with desperation, to eliminate the excuses and actually get to work on the things that matter. The old mind fears the conclusion. The Stoic mind takes the conclusion as fuel. Lesson 5. Opinions are noise. The old you craves approval. You post. You wait for likes. You shape your decisions to elude criticism. You are more concerned about how other people feel about you than how you really know you should feel about you. But Epictetus delivered the bitter truth. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The instant you cease to farm out your self-worth, your brain recalibrates to freedom. Because opinions are mere wind, they blow this way today, that way tomorrow. But character remains. The Stoic constructs an inner citadel, where external praise or blame cannot reach. And that is how you are made unshakable. Lesson 6. Pain is the teacher. Your old thinking will flee from pain in every way. It covers up, suppresses, and runs away whenever things become challenging. But the Stoics turned this maxim on its head. Pain is not the adversary, it is the teacher. Marcus Aurelius penned, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Pain is not punishment. Pain is feedback. It indicates where you are vulnerable. It shows what is still not finished. It toughens you where you were weak. Each scar is a page in your training manual. Each battle is a burden that shapes muscle, mental, emotional, physical. The old mind thinks, why me? The Stoic mind thinks, train me. Lesson 7. Control the inner. Release the outer. The old mind thinks it can shape the world to its desire. It is angry at traffic, frustrated at politics, infuriated at strangers on the internet. It hemorrhages energy over things that never belonged to it. The Stoics lopped this illusion in two. Epictetus stated, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." What is up to you? Your thoughts, your actions, your decisions. What is not? Everything else. The rewired mind ceases expending energy on tempests beyond its control. Instead, it owns the sole piece of real estate that ever mattered, itself. As you commit to this separation on a daily basis, you transition from victim to commander, and life becomes lighter, sharper, clearer. Lesson 8. Fortune is a loan, not a gift your old thinking views. Good luck, money, health, love as permanent assets. But fortune is a lender, not a gift. Giver. Someday she will want it all back. The Stoics practiced each day in premeditatio malorum, remembering the loss of that which they loved, not in order to depress themselves, but to strengthen thankfulness and harden the soul. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." When you rewire your mind to view fortune as a loan, you cease holding on, you cease dreading loss, and you begin to appreciate every moment. You don't possess your blessings, you are merely borrowing them. Lesson 9. Desire is a chain. The old way of thinking tells you that freedom is pursuing all pleasure, all craving, all urge. But the Stoics knew better. Desire is not freedom, it is bondage. Epictetus penned, Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desires, but by eliminating them. Consider it. The more you want, the more you rely. The more you rely, the less you command. A man who requires luxury to live is not free. A woman who can't survive without validation is not free. All craving is a chain, all indulgence another lock. The rewired brain learns to desire less, and in desiring less, it becomes untouchable. Lesson 10. You are already dying. The old way of thinking believes life to be infinite. It waits, stalls, and says, tomorrow, later, someday. But the Stoics bore death on their shoulder. They named it memento mori. Remember that you will die. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Death is not a curse, it is the compass. It reminds you to cut the trivial. It urges you to forgive, to act, to love, to create. It shatters the fantasy of someday, and all that is left to you is the one currency you've ever truly had. Now, the remapped brain doesn't dread death. It harnesses death for fuel for life. As you mix these nasty lessons, denying victimhood, accepting pain, cutting chains of want, you don't merely improve. You become different. This is how the Stoics shattered their old brains and rebuilt them into citadels of resilience. The old mindset lies to you. It says that comfort is safety, that you are not in control, that the world owes you, but the Stoics destroyed those delusions with brutal honesty. Pain, rejection, loss. These are not curses. They are chisels. Every blow carves away weakness, ego, and illusion, until what is left is the strongest part of you. Seneca cautioned, softness destroys character. That is why fortune doesn't indulge you, it challenges you, not because the world despises you, but because it wishes to show you to yourself. Your old you hangs onto comfort. Your new you blooms in fire. Your old you craves praise. Your new you becomes complete without applause. Your old you dreads endings. Your new you views endings as beginnings. And this is why Stoicism isn't theory. It is war, a war on weakness, on illusion, on the shackles your old mind placed upon you. And the battlefield isn't there. It is in here, in your mind, in your responses, in your decisions. Each insult, each loss, each rejection is another choice. Be a captive of the old mind or ascend with the rewired one. The Stoics never guaranteed comfort. They guaranteed strength. They didn't guarantee ease. They guaranteed lucidity. They didn't give away shortcuts. They provided tools to withstand, to overcome, to control yourself when the world becomes unfriendly. When you break the old way of thinking, you no longer pursue approval. You demand respect. You no longer dread rejection. You use it as redirection. You no longer shun pain. You craft power out of it. Marcus Aurelius taught in his diary, not to the world but to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the crux of Stoicism, to no longer be owned by circumstance, to no longer be controlled by the old voice that tells you, you can't handle this, to no longer be a victim of life and instead become its master. The reprogrammed mind doesn't whine. Why me? It asserts. Try me. So when rejection slashes, when loss sears, when the world knocks you to your knees, you don't remain there. You get up, not because it is easy, but because it is required. This is the harsh gift of Stoicism, to incinerate weakness until only strength burns. To reprogram your brain so pain is power and barriers are fuel. The old mind is no more. The new one has been forged, and now nothing can shatter you.